Hey everybody, it's GalMedX, and welcome to my last attempt at the Arena Direct event. I did win a box last time, so I decided, you know what, let's give Wizards a little bit more of my gems. Throw them into the wood chipper here. One last shot. Probably don't get the double box. Getting two in a row would be insane, but hey, we'll have a fun time, and we're up in value even if I just go 0 wins on this run. And this sealed pool sucks. Double Flare don't do anything. Echoes of Eternity doesn't do anything. Necrobloom's not playable. Fetch lands don't do anything. There are two Lelias though, or sorry, two red rares, two hasty red rares even. So we've got good red aggro. That's going to be sweet. And we could have some good commons and uncommons. We've got a Titan's Vanguard, no Writhing Chrysalis. We've got double Conduit Goblin towards Boros aggro. That could be sweet because we have great aggressive red rares. We've got some great uncommons as well with Realm the Implicit Maze, some creatures with the Gatekeepers. We got a removal spell with the Slice. Pyro Surfer's really aggressive. Yeah, if our white has good aggro stuff, we're just Boros aggro, and it's got an Airy Auxiliary, the best aggressive white common. It's got Glyph Elemental, one of the better uncommons, just in general, but especially for aggro. This is 44 cards without any multicolored. I mean, we got to cut double flare, double meltdown. So this would be 40, and then we play like the Conduit Goblins and get to cut the most filler cards playing pure Boros aggro. Honestly, that's probably where we're going to be. This is kind of the extra credit Arena Direct run, so I don't really feel the need to go super in depth with this sealed pool. You know, if I don't find the best deck in the sealed pool and I'm just running the second best deck, I think I'm fine with that. But our blue and our black honestly just look fine. The interaction's really not there in black, which is what it usually has going for it the best. Blue's very low on cards. Red's one of the deepest colors in terms of quantity. Green's like a little bit of ramp. No great stuff here either. There's a Bridgeworks battle for some removal. Honestly, this might be the simplest sealed pool we've opened. I mean, you can look it all over yourself. That was a look at every single color and colorless. I'm pretty sure it's just a Boros energy sealed pool. That was already the kind of deck I kind of wanted to play. Again, one last quick peek through everything so you can pause the video on all the colors if you want. But red and white are just the deepest and strongest colors, and we have two Conduit Goblins gluing them together. So, we Boros aggro. We jam some damage out here. Okay, what else do I want to cut now? One last cut. Maybe a land at this point. Creature count 16. None of these creatures are unplayable. We can cut a land for an eruption. We're aggressive enough, we can just pay life to play this. So just running it as a strictly better mountain for the most part for an aggro deck. Yeah. Just Boros beats. I think that's just where this deck wants to be. We could check if we have any on-color fetch lands to see if we have colorless sources to put in for Void Pouncer, but even just a 2-mana 3/1 looks fine for this deck. We have 1, 2, 3 Boros landscapes. So we could have 3 random colorless sources in the deck to maybe kick the Void Pouncer sometimes if we top deck it in the late game. Those also play well with landfall triggers on both Glyph Elemental and Reckless Pyro Surfer. I think it's reasonable to run the on-color landscapes here. 3 different synergies that are all pretty good for them. Kicker flexibility and great landfall plays. I'll run the on-color landscapes, but outside of that, let's call it a deck here. It's going to be the first and only Arena Direct video this time around where I build my deck and get into the gameplay in under 5 minutes. Oh, I do need to cut my basics, though. There we go. Under 5 minutes. Let's get in there. All right, here we are on the play for game 1. Little floody. I mean, both of our colors, 3 good spells. Capture's not really good, but 3 spells. We don't think we should be mulliganing that aggressively, but don't see this really curving out underneath most sealed decks. Feels like they're probably going to grind out and win the long game, which is what I'm the most scared of. Our sealed pool as a whole, but especially our sealed deck doesn't just really have powerful endgame stuff. Just an aggro curve out pile. I'll miss out on 1 gatekeeper point of damage, because then my first attack with precursor already makes up for that. I attack for 3 instead of attacking for 2. Oh yeah, we have precursor landscape synergies as well. So that's like a 4th card that works well with the landscapes when we sacrifice them. Alright. Gatekeeper, hold up red so that if they play a multicolored permanent, I have Ghostfire Slice up. Gross. Gotta love Auto Tapper. Let's hold up a white source with 3 red spells in hand. Sure, they're technically all uncastable, but Ghostfire Slice could be castable if they play a multicolored permanent. There's Amped Raptor, one of the best cards in the entire set that's absolutely destroying the historic metagame, alongside some other cards. But yeah, that's why it's so good. For 2 mana, they get a 2/1 first strike and clear out my 3-drop, because they got to cast 2 spells there. That's gross. Super glad I didn't let the Auto Tapper do its thing, because they did cast a multicolored creature. So that 1 mana up was definitely relevant. I would like to top deck a land so I can just discard a land to this discard effect. That'd be ideal. But if not, I'll discard Captor, I think. Looking pretty bad. Now I'll discard Wing It over Captor. So it doesn't look very good. You may play them until the end of your next turn. So I can play both of these? Cool. I could unearth the Gatekeeper to ping for 2 this turn, but I feel like Conduit Goblin haste nonsense might be better. But then I've really not got any pings out of the Gatekeeper, which is sad. Oh, I don't have triple white. I'd need triple white to play all 3 of these. Yeah. I definitely want to play these 2. What's Spellgorger weird when you cast a non-creature spell? I guess because Spellgorger is when you cast a non-creature spell. I can play Mandibular Chitin next turn. And trigger the Spellgorger weird. I guess the one thing a little sad about unearthing here is that Unearth Captor is a pretty spicy combo for the future that we just gave up on. But I'll have a Germ I can sack still. Flying Lifelink, please don't attack. No! I was like, if they just held that as a blocker, we might even just have lethal with how big they made that. The Lifelink is so bad. So bad for me. Yeah, we're really never racing through that. We have to find some way. to deal with it. I don't think we have any removal to deal with it. Thraben Charm. Thraben Charm would work. Thraben Charm and Dog Umbra. Do I use the stones to destroy the stones? I use the sentry to connive for a way to kill it. That is not a way to kill it. They're at 7, but they're going to gain like 6 here. They could even Wither and Bloom onto it. Throw another counter on there, even if they don't get the connive one. Glasswing Grace just running away with the game. The big flaw of auras is when your opponent has removal for them, you get 2 for 1 pretty hard, but if you can't kill the Glasswing Graced up creature, you can't kill your opponent, really. Gain 6. We can't kill the Glasswing Graced creature. Maybe they get to Wither and Bloom Witness at combo, because they don't have green up. So they can do that instead. They could also wait, because once they put a +1/+1 counter on this through other means, they can't adapt it anymore. Yes, they're going to go Discharge instead. Oh, man. It's not a way to deal with the sentry. They get to pick up Amped Raptor. Let's see if this is as good as the first time. Well, it still hits a 2-drop, so basically winning 2 coin flips there. Because odds are 50% or more of their deck should cost more than 2 mana. But they hit a 2-drop for the 2 energy each time. So sure, while that wasn't like removal or anything for instant massive impact, it was still real good RNG. Sundering Eruption is lethal, so we have 1 lethal top deck at this point. That's it. Detective's Phoenix is not lethal. Actually, I do have the Evidence Engrave. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I can put them to 2. 2 is not 0. So yeah, I can bestow it to give Flying and Haste to somebody, but it's just not quite enough damage. 2 damage off, and then we die to the Sentry. Because even if I establish 2 blockers, they have the double blue to play this and bounce one of my 2 flying blockers, so they get in with Menace. Flying Menace. Ah, that's rough. 2 damage off. I don't see... I guess we're technically 1 damage off, actually, which is even more depressing. Because I can actually Mandibular Kite a 3/3 instead of the 2/2 here. Maybe if we put the kite somewhere else last turn and did hit for one more damage that other turn, this would be lethal here. But like Pyrosurfer, I think Pyrosurfer was like a threat of dying on the attack or something, and I thought it was going to be our best creature because it makes any top deck land more damage. Alright, well, we are just dead. We put them to 1 and then die. One more energy would be lethal, or maybe a different Mandibular Kite equip. So close. Just slightly different lines maybe get there. Just couldn't find a way to get rid of the gigantic lifelinker, and we start things off 0-1 in the event where you only have one loss to give. So another loss is out of the event. That was our one freebie. We gotta go 6-0 now to get the runner-up, the runner. Alright, better hand this time around. Starts a little sooner. Actually, I wouldn't even say better hand. It's a comparable hand. This has a lack of threats. There's a single creature in it. So this hand has problems too, but it's got different problems. We're actually a 17 creature deck, because Arena said 16 creatures and it doesn't count Mandibular Kite, so we're a 17 creature deck. We should be able to find more threats in our openers than this. Just a little bit of rough variance on our first couple draws. First couple openers. Yep. I mean, that sucks, but Excellent Slith gets bigger at least. And we have good instants to hold up against whatever they play. About to just cast a 4-mana 3/3. Ooh boy. Drawing all our strongest cards today. Alright. Turns out a 4-mana 3/3 is scarier than it looks. It actually makes your opponent lose the game on the spot. We are now 1-1 heading into game 3. Here we are for game 3. Sadly, we're on the draw, but we do have our most aggressive hand yet. So that certainly makes up for it. This is still, even on the draw, going to feel more aggressive than the first couple games. Green-red from our opponent. It's a Pyrosurfer. Super real with the landscape. Kinda still want a Conduit Goblin first. For a hasty Void Pouncer later. Yeah, I could haste out anything alongside Conduit Goblin. And if I really want to, next turn I can just Pyrosurfer double Battlecry both these cards to buff them. Yeah, I'm gonna Conduit Goblin here. Okay, so Ghost Flyer Slice does not get used on Pyrosurfer then, at least. Sundering Eruption to shut off all their blocks in the future. That could be big. I sort of want to keep the landscape when I have the Void Pouncer to kick on turn 5. Find other lines here. Because now every landfall trigger on Pyrosurfer is just 1 more damage right now, but if I get more creatures on board, it'll be 2 damage per Battlecry trigger kind of thing. So I'm going to give up on 1 point from Pyrosurfer to get like 2 extra points with Void Pouncer later. If I still had Conduit Goblin on board, I'd absolutely play Landscape Kraken, because that'd be 4 extra points of damage because Battlecry 2 on the Germ, Battlecry 2 on the Goblin. Oh no, Path of Annihilation, so they have like infinite mana. It's terrifying. Just play a land, trigger the Battlecry, swing, pass, getting ready to kick a Void Pouncer. Hold up the Dog Umbra for whatever they play off the path, hopefully. This could be awkward, because like I could play the Void Pouncer and Dog Umbra, somebody right now. So I guess let's do the math on that, right? We'll do the math after we see how much damage they take here. Because we can shut off all of their blocks. Green-red is not going to play a flyer. And I get to triple Battlecry next turn. So they're at 11. If I play a Void Pouncer with 3 Battlecry, I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I hit for exact lethal. If I can keep all these on board and then Sundering Eruption next turn. So I'm going to go for it. Dog Umbra if they try to use removal. And Sundering Eruption otherwise. Well, I'm going to Sundering Eruption no matter what during our turn. Okay. Oh, the path gaining the life. Man. At least they hit a Sundering Eruption, which does stone cold nothing. It does make me get my land into play tapped, though. So now I don't get to Dog Umbra their thing till next turn. Okay. That is moderately relevant. Okay, if they don't kill me next turn, which they probably won't because I'm going to make it so this can't attack or block, then we can still kill them with Sundering Eruption 2 turns from now. I guess we have to choose between Dog Umbra Altasaur or Sundering Eruption to keep Dog Umbra around. Okay, Dog Umbra Altasaur. Well, how much damage is the Sundering Eruption again? So I play Landscape, I crack Landscape. That's 2 landfall triggers. I Sundering Eruption, that's 3 landfall triggers. That's 3 battle cries, so these creatures get +3/+0, so 6, 7, 8. 8 plus 4. Yeah, it's 11 damage. The gain 4 was incredibly relevant here. So I don't lethal them. So because I don't lethal them anyway, I think I just Dog Umbra here and Landscape for damage. The one part I am not super happy about is losing the Dog Umbra as protection for my Pyro Surfer to be able to Eruption them later. But I can still, like, Eruption no Battlecry them if they kill, like, the Pyro Surfer here and just hit for 4 with the other cards. Oh, I did the math wrong. They would have been at 3 life if I had Sundering Eruption. I mean, they'd still be alive, which is the important part. Okay, Warped Tusker. It's a gain 4. They're at 9. If they can't kill my creature with this last remaining colored mana, then Sundering Eruption should be able to deal 9 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8? No, 1 damage off. No shot, we're 1 damage off again. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, we're literally 1 damage off. Oh my god. If I top decked a land, they'd just be dead here. Shut off blockers. Landfall trigger for Battlecry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm at 5 evidence. Oh my god, I'm at 5 out of 6 evidence too. I'm 1 evidence off. I'm also being lethal in that direction. Put them to 1. Just put them to 1 with a haste attacker we can play out of nowhere. Why would you tap like that? Well, it doesn't matter here. They don't gain any life or play any creatures. I can attack with 2 flying creatures next turn off Detective's Phoenix. No, a reach creature! It doesn't gain them 4 though, so I attack with 4 creatures still. Unless they top deck a creature immediately off of its landfall trigger. Oh, I thought that was going to gain 4 as well. They did top deck a creature immediately, but it's green. So they can't play it without tapping somebody. So they only have 3 blockers against 4 hasty attackers. Well, 4 attackers. One of them being relevantly hasty. Okay, well now we're just mega overkill. Phoenix alone will do it. And in the squad. That is 2 and 1 as we move into game number 4. Game 4, I don't think we can keep a 5-lander. That's a lot, especially if we don't draw creatures for auxiliary, then this hand's super bad. This is better. Just grab our red mana immediately, curve out Goblin and a Gatekeeper into auxiliary. It's a lot of damage without cheap removal from our opponent. We haste the Gatekeeper, we haste the auxiliary. Blue-black. Royal Cartographer's the play. And we're just going for damage here for sure. I pretend I have a 0 mana trick to kill Cartographer. Because if they want to attack me and poke me for 1, they got it. That's 1 less blocker to worry about. Against blue-black, I really don't think life total is going to be super relevant. It's going to be like, can they stop my initial onslaught or not? If they can, they're going to win. Even if it's 1 life to 20 life. They're going to keep that 1 life and slowly grind it back in. Well, only got 1 really viable line here, so we go for it. Well, that's Magical Christmas Land. It's the perfect card for our opponent. See blue, black, white from our opponent in sealed. Odds of exactly Hope Ender Quaddle. Yeah, I don't think we play around that. I think we just gotta curve out on them and hope they're holding up instant speed removal to kill Conduit Goblin in response to Auxiliary or something. Even if they were playing open-handed, we could like Thraben Charm Cartographer, and then they just kill us with an Emperor Bone still. Yeah, I mean if they're playing open-handed there, our way to play around the Hope Ender is to not have removal left for Emperor of Bones, because our only other play is to throw our Thraben Charm away. Yeah, I mean that was just a really bad turn for us. Happens. It's rough. Got a couple landfall cards in the deck, but I still think I'm going to thin a land out the landscape here. How do I do maximum damage right now? Haste that for 2. Menace that for 3. I guess I can threaten to have removal here, since I don't need to Thraben Charm till the end step, really. They're just not going to block with Emperor Bones for sure. So I threaten to have some kind of trick to use on Cartographer. And worst case scenario, I just still deal the 5, which is what I was going to deal if I didn't attack with Gatekeeper. Okay, yeah, this is the same amount of damage. I do not play around the trick, though. They are down to 11, facing a Gatekeeper and a Charge Bug. These can find some chip damage, so we might not be completely out of it, but again, it's the kind of matchup we really need to kill them before they get into the late game. They have 6 more potential spells here, and we have none. We are all out on the board here. That Hope Ender Quaddle was absolutely the MVP of the game. Utter Insignificance on Gatekeeper, alright. And Chump attack with that just to get an Unearth off of it later. Yeah, they're still stuck on mana. Oh, I forgot to crack Landscape. Foolish. Foolish. Slice their face for 4. So 4 damage to face with Ghostfire Slice. But if I slice Cartographer, I'm getting Conduit Goblin through. So if Conduit Goblin gets through just 2 times, that pays off just as much damage as the slice would have hit for. I mean, we get 3 damage off of this immediately. Yeah. I think I keep this energy so that if they don't kill Conduit Goblin here, if they just want to get rid of Gatekeeper, I can still give anything haste. And they do not want to kill Gatekeeper. Cool. It's a little life gaining 1/2. Usually pretty bad, but it's actually really threatening here. Same with Wavebreaker, just having 1/2s and 1/1s when we're out of steam. Can do it. Okay, unless I draw exactly Void Pouncer, it's better to be less likely to draw land here. It's actually really bad right now. Just top decked basically a land. This is our 17th land. It's 2 damage. We have just like no attacks. So our best bet now I guess I don't need the energy for haste anymore. Our best bet now is to just top deck a bunch of creatures in a row and then oops lethal them with Eruption several turns from now. We just try to get math adding up to 10. Which is going to be difficult because they're going to be gaining a bunch of life while we're setting up our creatures. No! The second bomb rare after the Emperor. Oh. I mean, Genku still triggers and gets a blocker in reverse in response to this Ral thing, but we're working our way towards the 8 we need this way. Yeah, so these two die. Do they both turn into a creature here, or just one of them? It's only one per turn, right? No, they both turn into a creature? Jesus. Yeah, no, we're just not getting through Genku. Unless they play incredibly defensively, then we could maybe get a surprise eruption. We still have to play this so that we can dig on Chapter 2. And get towards the Spell Gorger weird for another attacker. Plus, stopping the Genku plus Distinguished Conjurer combo is probably very important as well. One white mana way to kill the Charge Bug here? No. It's an axe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 damage right now. I have to keep Sundering Eruption though, so I have to just discard Axe here. I don't think I can choose not to discard. Even though this is 2 more damage. If I just draw a 2-power creature, that works too. Okay, that's a 3-power creature, so it is probably slightly better for us than the Axe. We have 6 damage on the board. One, two, three, four, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 from the Charge Bug ability. Make it 7 by unearthing Gatekeeper. So like chump here and then unearth it. Could chump attack because they don't want to trade the lifelinker off probably. There's a risk though, because if they do trade the lifelinker off, that's horrible. I don't think they would though. They're probably not playing around Eruption here. And losing any tokens, they lose them forever, so they'd probably just block with the non-token, like the Inventor there. Do I chill? Or do I put Gatekeeper in grave to be 1 damage from lethal? So that if I top deck, what kills them off the top? I've got 3 mana for Eruption. 1 for Gatekeeper. So a 2-drop creature would kill them as a top deck. It's not super likely. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures. 5 lethal top decks if there's a Gatekeeper in my grave. But if I just wait for the Spellgorger weird token, I also have a lethal eruption already. Just Spellgorger plus all these creatures. There's no way I can go for it against 5 open mana. Is there? Oh man, if we get removal spelled, we lose this round. If I go for the eruption, then they removal spell us, we just straight up lose. But if I wait a turn, we might have enough damage to win through the removal spell. And obviously, if they like removal spell in the end step here, it's also strictly better. Oh, they didn't even use the Genku. Counter on everybody. Take it. Okay, I'm just gonna go for it this next turn now. Wait, how did that trigger? Oh god, don't get the flyer. How the... Oh, I hate that that triggers off utter insignificance. Oh my god. So it's better to not block than it was to get the gatekeeper here? Oh boy. Oh boy. I think we still have lethal if they have nothing. But now they really need to have nothing. And I'm almost out of time where I can wait. Okay, I needed to let it in again. I totally didn't realize that them getting the utter insignificance engrave was gonna trigger Genku. So now they have a blocker. They block the 3-1. 5, 6, 7, 8. We're presenting lethal on board. Yeah, they have to have instant speed removal here. On top of this, they have something because Arena's holding for them. God dang it. Oh my god, I am gonna lose. I'm gonna lose because I trumped Inventor because I didn't realize Insignificance triggers Genku. Because I can't wait another turn now, can I? They can Genku the whole board and I have 3 blockers. They lifelink in. I really don't think I can wait another turn at this point. What a corner case to lose to. The utter insignificance going to grave. Because I went for the Gatekeeper on Earth for maybe more damage if we top decked a creature. Yep, and then here's the removal. Well, on the plus side, we could have lost 2 turns ago if I tried to do this sooner. God dang it. Block the Gatekeeper. Oh my god, it triggers on lands too? Alright, well, I already lost. I already lost to the Dog Umbra, right? Because we could... I mean, now I'm super dead. I'm just going to concede, but I'm going to look over this board. We already lost to just Dog Umbra. Absolutely not. Dog Umbra alone. So it would have been Menace, the Spellgorger. For 4. That blocks that. Charge Bug with Winged is 4... sorry. Yeah, 4 block. 5, 6, 7. We would have put them to 1, even if I didn't blow up their land and give them a second Moonfolk there. So really, we lost when we chumped. We lost when we trumped and the utter insignificance triggered Genku. I should have realized after that that lands would trigger it too. I thought it said non-land, it says non-token. It doesn't say non-token, non-land, it says non-token. Okay. All right, again, obviously the Sun Eruption, now we made it, so they would have survived even without the Dog Umber. But since they had the Dog Umber, we needed to realize that the utter insignificance combos with the Genku. And if we realized that, then they would have had no flyers, and they could have Dog Umbered our biggest creature when we moved to combat. So that would be the Spellgorger or the Void Pouncer, but then we could still hit for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Would have had lethal. The utter insignificance Genku gets them there. Well, that game was winnable. We'd be 3-1 right now, and no telling where it goes from there. With some good draws, I think this deck is capable of winning a few games in a row. We never hit the Laelia, and that's one of our biggest bombs in the deck. So maybe we hit Laelia a couple times in those future games. We're 3-1, move up to 5-1, or maybe even get all the way to the box if we play that game out right. But that really specific corner case interaction, forgot that their enchantment is on our creature, making it a 1-1, so their non-token permanent is going to the grave when I chump with my creature, allowing Genku to trigger and give them the flyer to block through a Sundering Eruption. Wild way to lose it, but them's the breaks. That's on us. That's on me. Did not see that interaction. Modern Horizons can be a super complicated format, and that can drag you down to a 2-2 instead of a 3-1. Well, that officially ends all of the Arena Direct runs for me. I did do one bonus run here because I had a little extra time, and I was riding high off of that booster box win. Did not get there this time, but we still got excellent value. Spent $150 worth of gems, got a $250 booster box. We'll take it. Pretty great time in the event overall, value-wise, even if the majority of our runs are just 3-2s and 2-2s, and it does end with quite a bit of a bummer off of that Genku misplay. But that is going to end today's video. As always, I'd like to thank my patrons and YouTube members for their support, as well as you for watching the video. If you enjoyed it and you're interested in seeing some more, you can always like, comment, and subscribe to tell the YouTube algorithm to send you some more in your recommended feed. If you'd like to catch me live, you can check out the Twitch channel in the link in the description below, and if you'd like to support the channel directly, you can check out the Patreon link in the description below. But other than that, as always, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon for some more Magic Arena.